Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today we're here to talk about a couple different things. We're mainly going to start by going over my this rap theory and the theory of life and just everything in general about spiritual stuff and stuff like that. Um, Now I'm going to start off by saying that all the stuff I'm talking about goes clear back to um, at least the 90s, possibly even maybe like the 60s, like back to the Sound of Silence days and stuff. But where I'm trying to go with this is that when I was younger, around probably, I don't know, like 15 or 16 years old, I started to really become heavy into music, especially like Tupac and stuff like that. And it kind of started to really draw on me. And I really enjoyed it to the point where I almost become like obsessed slash fascinated with it. And I started really studying Tupac when I was 15, and I realized that, he had, like, I didn't understand fully back then what he meant, but, he had some great songs and all that. And starting out around that time when I was later 18, Eminem made Cinderella Man, My Potatoes Baked Homie. Well, Eminem was also signed by Dr. Dre, who in the 90s has Zoom with LL Cool J, right? So Dr. Dre says, Mr. Smith, it's on you. And then LL Cool J comes in a little later and starts saying, if Shorty want to be if Shorty want to step up, which might be the Shorty that Tupac was talking about, and Shorty want to be a thug. But LL says, if Shorty want to step up, I'll twist his neck up. What, partner? Take 10 paces, turn around. That quick your whole ghost town is burning down. So that's a little odd right there, especially considering that Tupac had beef with not only LL Cool J but Dr. Dre at the time, and Dr. Dre and LL Cool J are on that song. And LL Cool J actually has a whole Mr. Smith album where he has a song called "I Shot Ya." Well, guess who also had beef with Tupac? Biggie did, and Biggie has a song "Who Shot Ya" where he says, "Old school, new school, need to learn though. I burn, baby, burn like disco inferno. Peel more skins than Idaho potato." Now, those are all going back to Tupac. And Tupac in Shorty Wanna Be a Thug says, was a nice middle class, was only 16, yet, all this stuff, and no mother and father, the future's looking dim, and all that stuff. And it's just really relatable stuff. And then Eminem also in Cinderella Man says, thanks for being patient, shit. My potatoes baked, homie. Which I feel might be an Idaho reference also, especially if Biggie's was, as they're both legends of rap. And Biggie's clearly says Idaho potato. And all these people are legends of rap and would be affiliated or have known about Tupac pretty well. So it brings me back to my theory, where does that leave me? It leaves me wondering what's going on. Because is Tupac still alive? Is he, is he in heaven? Is he back as Machiavelli? Like, what is going on? And it's just a lot of random things. But then go back, and this stretches out beyond the rap game too with this theory, because we have songs such as Aqualung from 1971, where he starts out saying, like, feeling like a dead duck, spitting out pieces of his broken luck. Oh, Aqualung, or whatever. And then it says, watching as the frilly panties run. And then it's weird because the guy comes in the middle and he says, Aqualung, my friend, don't you start away uneasy. You poor old sod, you see, it's only me. And it's like he's talking to somebody because he's saying it's only him in the song, so that's where it all kind of come from. And yeah, it's weird because then it goes into, do you still remember December's foggy freeze when you snatch your rattling last breaths with deep sea diver sounds, and the flowers bloom like madness in the spring. And all this life stuff started correlating around this spring. And it's a song I had heard my whole life, but really started to take in this past year or two, and it kind of makes sense. And yeah, that's another one. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. So we got Biggie, Tupac, Dr. Dre, and Eminem all in kind of in kind of the theory, you know. And I realized that a lot of stuff started to correlate because they're talking about how he would come back in, I believe it was either 2016 or something like that. And in 2016, I was actually 25, which is the age that Tupac died at, and 2 plus 5 is 7. And also, when I was 18, 8 minus 1 is 7 is when Eminem made Cinderella Man. Now, I was also roughly 15, 16, as, you know, when it all started happening. Was a nice middle class, was only 16, because Shorty wanted to be a thug. And all that stuff starts to correlate out to that. And I just don't really, I don't fully understand yet, but I have a good enough grasp where it's more percentage of it is controlled my body now, to the point where I understand everything, basically. And I might know a lot more than people give me credit for. In fact, I know probably more than most people. So, but the fact of the matter is that I'm not claiming to be anybody specific, and when I post lyrics and stuff and when I talk about these things, it's how your mind perceives it. But if your mind's perceiving it to be thrown back my way, then maybe it's true and that's how it's meant to be, and that's why I picked up on such a thing too. Because life really is impossible, you know? I mean, it's literally impossible. You can't have something from nothing, but at the same time, who is God's Father? So that leaves a big question for everything. And I feel very enlightened, and I have to go more with there being a God than there not being a God, because this is all too crazy for there not to be something of a higher power. I think God created evolution, and that we are also, everything is possible in infinity, time, and space, considering that life is impossible, and that God can create anything from nothing, in between nothing and up to his powers. So that means that literally anything you can imagine is probably possible. Anything can happen, you know, basically anything is possible. So that's just a little reminder for people, you know, like the fact that we're here is just insane. But yeah, you just gotta live life day to day and go with it and understand that everything's gonna be all right. You know, I mean, like life goes on, it really does, and you have to take every day for what you can and understand it's the best. You know, like um, yeah, I don't really have any problems with anybody. I feel I've reached kind of a nirvana state where it's one of the last cycles of reincarnation, you know, and you're free from a lot of stuff and just kind of floating by because you feel like you've accomplished what you could do in knowledge, and you can try to give it back to people and have them relate and stuff, you know. So it's really good to be open minded, especially nowadays in such a fast social media world where not much is studied as much. You can learn a lot real fast, but also at the same time, you know, makes it very difficult in certain aspects when people are always getting blown up. You can get either cast out, or you can, you know, you can be doing pretty well in a social life. And I'm not saying I really need a social life necessarily. I mean, it'd be nice, it'd be a bonus, but I'm just happy being myself, you know. You gotta be happy with yourself and be happy with God, basically, because we may be ending the final days, possibly. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on in the world all the time, and like I said, it's all going so fast. Jesus was crucified 2,000 years ago. Was supposed to come back around 2,000 years. You know, he was crucified around 2,000. Um, around 2000 AD is after the death of Christ, and now here we are in the 2000s in a modern era, and I believe that Jesus will return, and that after his battle with Satan, that God will definitely step in and have the final say of everything. And that's why people need to be very careful nowadays, because shit is getting crazy. And I don't know. I just hope you guys all understand and stuff. So, but anyways, that's gonna conclude this video for now. I'll probably make more. So you guys take care for now, and I'll see you soon.